All right, welcome to the Young Turks. Hell of a show for you guys today. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is out. What on God's green earth? That is the last person we thought would leave the Trump administration. She's gone. We're going to get to that in a little bit. And also, you're going to be shocked to find out that the mainstream media mockingly attacked Bernie Sanders' substantive speech yesterday. I know, huge surprise, right? But Beto O'Rourke is complaining that they're going after him too. Fascinating turn of events. We'll talk about all that. But we promised you throughout the week that we would have a breaking news story for you at the top, and that justice was coming. Well, it has arrived. Joining us now, the person running for Texas' 28th district against incumbent Henry Cuellar, Jessica Cisneros. Jessica, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing? I'm so excited to be here with y'all. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Absolutely, we're excited to have you. Now, you're running against Democratic incumbent. You're a Justice Democrat, so you are trying to serve justice to Cuellar. Why is that? Now, the rest of the media will tell you, he's a Democrat, he's on your team. Why are you challenging him?
Because the people of South Texas deserve better. It's plain and simple. You know, Cuellar calls himself a Democrat, but he's not a Democrat. You know, we're having someone in office that just has that D next to his name, but he's fundraising for Republicans. He's taking money from ExxonMobil, the NRA, the Koch brothers, in a district like mine, where we're solidly Democrat. To have somebody acting like a Republican and say that they represent our community, that's completely unacceptable. And I was born and raised here in Laredo. You know, I'm a daughter of Mexican immigrants, and I come here. I'm from, the Salsipuedes neighborhood, and I'm here to fight for la gente. I'm here to fight for the people of South Texas, and we're ready.
So, Jessica, were you briefly an intern for Cuellar?
Yes, I was. Damn. I was interning with him in 2014, the spring semester 2014.
And what did you learn while you were there about him?
I learned that I could do the job and I can do a better one.
Yes, yes.
Justice is coming.
I was 20 years old at the time, so obviously I couldn't run then. But I was quietly, observing, and I saw that he was very silent on many of the issues that are important for us here in South Texas. And I was there. I saw things that I didn't agree with, and I remember telling myself then that I need to prepare myself because one day I'm going to be an advocate for my community. And the opportunity came this cycle, and now I'm here and ready to go.
So Jessica, I don't know that you can answer this question, but as I looked at Cuellar's record, it's so deeply conservative. A rating from the NRA, unbelievable. He votes with Trump nearly 70% of the time. I kept thinking, why? Why does he take Koch brothers money in a deeply blue district? Why does Club for Growth? That's the thing that helps rich people cut their taxes and corporations cut their taxes, and it hurts average Americans so much. Why does he bother doing it in a deeply blue district?
Because he's been taking the people of South Texas for granted. Nobody has been challenging him. He was elected in 2004, hasn't had a challenger since 2006. He's just been taking the people of South Texas for granted and has been, acting as a Republican in office. But now he has a challenger, and yes, it's completely outrageous, especially because he is also the son of Mexican immigrants, and here he is taking money from private prisons like the Geo Group that is incarcerating people from the community and is separating families. Like, how can he stand by this, and how can he take money from them?
So Jessica, I'm really curious to hear about some of the feedback you've already received in challenging this Democrat. Now, some might argue, hey, Texas is changing in terms of its electoral politics, but it's still a red state. And he's just playing ball in order to have some Democratic representation in the state. What would you say to those individuals who make that argument? Do you think that the state of Texas is ready for a real progressive?
I mean, we've been ready. Today was the first day of the launch, and I've already been out there and talking to people, and we've had overwhelming support from many members of the community, especially women that are coming up to me, and they're telling me, thank you for running, thank you for having the courage to do this, because nobody had been standing up, and that is an amazing feeling because they're seeing themselves in our campaign. They're seeing themselves represented for the first time in 12 years. So no, to the people that say that this is, that South Texas isn't ready for a progressive, that's not true. We just haven't had a choice, but we do have a choice now.
So I want to be clear on a couple of things. Jessica is not taking any corporate PAC money, of course. She's a Just Democrat, not taking any lobbyist money. Do you know what percentage of Cuellar's money came from small dollar donations?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
It was for the last cycle. It was a little less than $6,000, and in the first 4 hours that we launched, we surpassed that.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so Jessica had, in essence, two goals. The first one was passive small dollar donations. That got done in about 1 minute. Okay, the second was try to raise $100,000 on the first day. Number one, you need that money to run. You need a campaign manager, you need a field director, you need this team to be able to actually win this seat and take it away from somebody who votes with Trump 70% of the time when it's a deeply blue seat. There's no reason why you should have it. Number two, you need it for extra media coverage, because if you have a lot of money, then the media goes, oh wow, Jessica's serious, then we have to take her seriously, etc., which then gives you a further bump up. So look, I want to give those websites and links to you right away. We're gonna give it again at the end, but it's obviously jessicacisnerosforcongress.com. But you could also do the website /donate and /volunteer. Remember, a lot of these Just Democratic candidates are powered by their volunteers as well as your small dollar donations. She's, I think, right around 50,000 now, so we got about 12 hours left or so to get to the second 50,000. So all the money obviously goes to her campaign. Let's try to make that happen.
Yes, please. I mean, I'd appreciate all the support, because we need a primary, I almost said Republican because it's true, Democrats like Cuellar, because by having Democrats like him in office is just a disservice to Democrats everywhere. If he's not gonna get in line with the party and actually fight for what people in South Texas or Democrats everywhere need, then we don't need somebody like that in office.
So Jessica, there have been some news reports regarding the Koch brothers and how fearful they are of more AOC-like representatives getting elected into Congress. And so as a result, they've kind of shifted their fundraising strategy toward establishment Democrats who are being primaried. Is that something that concerns you at all?
No, because I really do think that this race is for la gente, for la people, and that's gonna show up. That's gonna, people are gonna recognize that. So no, we're not afraid. I mean, we knew coming in what we were facing, and I mean, we're here, we're fighting it out. Okay,
so Jessica, you've gotten a series of accomplishments even at such a young age. You're a lawyer, you're a lawyer for immigrants and human rights causes. You won the Dean's Achievement Award, the Texas Law Fellowship Excellence in Public Interest Award. You were first in your class in high school, but why run? How did you get roped into running for Congress?
I mean, it sincerely, it came from, well, first of all, that experience of working with the office of Henry Cuellar and seeing that he was silent on so many issues. But secondly, and more recently, it has been my work as a lawyer. It's heartbreaking to work so hard and present the best case possible for your clients, and then to have judges say, I want to help you, but I can't because the law just isn't there. And it was very infuriating, but it made me recommit to this because I felt like, well, if the law is the problem, then let's go to Congress and change it.
And I know you went through the Just Democrat process. Can you tell us how they found you in the first place?
Yes, so my high school teacher and mentor, John Bailly, he was the one that nominated me. John has been a very influential person in my life. From the moment I stepped in his classroom, he recognized my fiery passion for social change and giving back to my community. And he really, he nurtured it. I told him I wanted to be a lawyer, and he sat me down and, started going through LSAT practice questions and stuff because I was gonna go to law school after college. And throughout college, throughout law school, he's always been a great mentor. And just like him, there are so many other educators in South Texas that do the same thing for their students. and they aren't getting paid that much, which is ridiculous. And we're not investing in our schools, we're not investing in our children. So then what are we doing? What are we doing? We need to stand up and invest in our communities.
Like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ayanna Pressley, you're taking on a Democratic incumbent, and obviously they were vastly underestimated to the great regret of the incumbents who ran against them. And here you are again. Now Cuellar again is not only Trump's favorite Democrat, and he's been given that title, but he was also given the title of Big Oil's favorite Democrat. And so you couldn't find a more corporate Democrat to run against, and you couldn't find a more compelling story than having your teacher nominate you through justdemocrats.com/nominate, and now you're on your path. So Jessica, last question for you. Nonetheless, he's gonna way outraise you, right? So they've also blocked your ability to use any other Democratic organization, consultant or otherwise. And you wouldn't want Democratic consultants giving you advice on policy, then you'd lose. But there are other services that are offered, and that has now been cut off because of the DCCC's decision to back corporate Democrats and incumbents exclusively, no matter how conservative they are.
Decision, I think, is very generous to them. They're undemocratic and weak actions, I would say.
Yes, that was Sherry Bustos and the entire Democratic leadership, because they don't want real people like Jessica in office. They want corporate, corrupt Democrats like Cuellar, and they've made their bed. That's clear, but it does make your job harder. So what's your plan for defeating them?
My plan is to simply go and talk to the people of South Texas and talk about Cuellar's lackluster record. And it's unfortunate that the DCCC is taking a position like that, because again, they're saying it under the pretext of like protecting Democratic seats. But again, you have someone like Cuellar who is fundraising for Republicans, and that has serious consequences. John Carter was reelected, and instead we could have had a Democrat in that seat, and we don't, because thanks to Henry Cuellar.
Yeah, and by the way, that seat that Cuellar cost the Democrats, it wasn't like it was a 10, 20-point blowout.
No.
It was 51-48, barely lost. The reason the Republicans won that seat is because of a turncoat like Cuellar. So he's not on our team in any way, shape, or form. Even if you were in the party of in the camp of, well, if he's got a D on his helmet, no matter what. No, he actively fought against fellow Democrats. No excuse whatsoever. All right, everybody check out Jessica Cisneros for Congress.com, and obviously Jessica Cisneros for Congress.com/donate. That's the most important. Today, we gotta get her over $100,000. Any amount will help. $1, $3, $27 I hear is a good number. If you got more, God bless your heart, do it $100. Let's take out Trump's favorite man in the Democratic Party. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us, really appreciate it.
Gracias, y'all, thank you for talking to me.
All right, absolutely. All right, we're gonna take a quick break now. When we come back, down goes Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Why? What the hell's going on? We're gonna put an end to it until we figure out what the hell is going on. All right, that's what we'll do when we come back. We hope you're enjoying this free clip from the Young Turks. If you want to get the whole show and more exclusive content while supporting independent media, become a member at tyt.com/join today. In the meantime, enjoy this free segment. All right, back in the Young Turks, a couple of quick comments for you guys, all from the members section, tyt.com/Charlie, become a member, get a week free. Ken said, epic post-game rant by Cenk yesterday on impeaching Trump. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Thank you, Kent, I appreciate that. And by the way, you could also check that out if you're a member, tyt.com/trial. Chelsea says, longtime listener, new member, you're all doing great and necessary work. It gives young millennials like me hope for a real future despite this toxic climate we're currently living in. You want to talk about young millennials? Jessica Cisneros is 26 years old, and she's going to take out a corrupt corporate Democrat in Texas. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was 28 years old when she took out Joe Crowley. So we are the hope, okay? And when I say we, I mean all of us, okay? You guys watching us, all the people fighting. Sharon writes in, today's my husband's birthday. He's a brand new fan of TYT and progressives, and you guys have helped me convince him how important it is to pay attention to politics. That's great, Sharon. This is the point where you say what your husband's name is so we can tell him happy birthday. Except you didn't. Okay, so But nonetheless, Sharon's husband, happy birthday.
That's hilarious.
All right, now on to Sarah Huckabee.
I have a TYT live though that I want to read.
Oh, you do, and sorry, and I have one too, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna be on Cuomo again tonight. So 9 o'clock Eastern, okay? On CNN, Cuomo primetime. I'm going against McEnany again, the Trump's campaign spokesperson.
Can't wait.
So that's always terrific, and we're going to debate the illegal violations of the Hatch Act that Kellyanne Conway did, but also the law breaking of Donald Trump, and how he says he never goes to the FBI. Who would go to the FBI? Well, if you're a criminal, that's true. So anyway, I'll save it for Cuomo. Make sure you check that out on CNN at 9 o'clock tonight. Yes, Anna.
So our viewers are buzzing about Revolution Rally in Miami.
Oh, fun. Yes.
Many of them have been contacting me asking about what they can do to help get me there, which is really nice. In fact, one of our viewers, a very kind woman, has started a petition. She started it like an hour or two before the show went live, and I've shared it in case anyone else wants to sign it. And Emma Vigland has just written in using the hashtag TYT Live. Hi, Cenk. As a courtesy, I'm letting you know in advance that I'm taking legal action to force you to allow Anna Kasparian to attend the Revolution Rally in Miami. The proceeds from my lawsuit will go toward our cocktails on the beach. Lawyer up, you corporate shill. And then, of course, she's joking, and she makes that clear in a subsequent tweet.
Okay, so listen, you know me, I don't give in to threats. On the other hand,
let's take a look at the petition.
Oh, there's okay there.
Yeah, so
do we have a graphic
we made a graphic. That's what the petition looks like.
I'm not bringing Charlie, okay? What are you bringing Charlie? That's not happening. All right, forget the petition. Look, you want to get Anna to Miami? TYT.com/yes. I mean, our number one problem is money, right? Let's keep it real. So TYT.com/yes, that's donations. You give us a couple of bucks, Anna will get to go to Miami. But give to Jessica Cisneros first, okay? That's more important. All right, we'll figure out Anna in Miami later. You can do both if you want, but Jessica Cisneros for Congress.com/donate. All right, and speaking of which, by the way, TYT.com/rally to get information. Oh, you're on camera.
Oh, sorry, Brett. I can hear you in my ear. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, TYT.com/rally to get more information about Miami. That's June 26th and 27th. And for the pledge signups, 17,641 people have already signed the pledge, and so that is votes that are going to a progressive candidate that agrees with that pledge. And volunteers are now up to 7,910. You guys are amazing. Keep it going at TYT.com/pledge. Okay, now more news.
All right. Donald Trump has announced via Twitter that Sarah Huckabee Sanders will be leaving her post as the White House press secretary by the end of the month. In fact, he also spoke about it on camera. Let's hear what he has to say.
And I thought maybe I'd just take a moment. So at the White House, and been with me now 3.5 years before I won, before the election, is a person, a friend, a woman, a great, magnificent person actually, named Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And she's very popular. She's very popular. She's done an incredible job, and we've been through a lot together, and she's tough, but she's good. You know, you also have tough and bad, right? She's tough and she's good, she's great. And I don't know, Phil and folks, if we can get her to run for the governor of Arkansas, I think she'll do very well, and I'm trying to get her to do that. She's strong, but with great heart, and I want to thank you for an outstanding job. Yes, sir. And thank you, come. Thank you, honey.
That face was awesome.
Anyway, let's hear from her real quick.
I'll try not to get emotional because I know that crying can make us look weak sometimes, right? This has been the honor of a lifetime, the opportunity of a lifetime. I couldn't be prouder to have had the opportunity to serve my country and particularly to work for this president. He has accomplished so much in these 2.5 years, and it's truly been something I will treasure forever. It's one of the greatest jobs I could ever have. I've loved every minute, even the hard minutes. I have loved it. I love the president. I love the team that I've had the opportunity to work for. The president is surrounded by some of the most incredible and most talented people you could ever imagine. And it's truly the most special experience.
The only thing she has done, and it is not a service to the country, is cover up and lie for a criminal in chief. Someone who has obstructed justice, someone who's used his own charitable foundation to enrich himself, someone who has made illegal campaign contributions to his own campaign by paying hush money payments to porn stars that he had affairs with. I mean, he is a criminal. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders has aided and abetted a criminal. And so what is her future gonna look like? She's likely either gonna get elected as the governor of Arkansas, or she's gonna get hired as some sort of contributor or even a news editor for one of the cable news outlets. So that's how the story ends. Let's keep it real. This country loves to celebrate bad people.
No, this story ends with me against her on CNN. And an evisceration. Because you're absolutely right. At first, when she was talking about how she worked with some of the most talented people in the world on Trump's team, I thought she was trying out for Saturday Night Live. Okay, but I guess she thinks she's being serious. So will she get a cable news contract? Of course she'll get paid an incredible amount for that, and eventually a book, and so she will be famous and wealthy and get rewarded for all the different lies that she told. So whenever somebody leaves from the Trump White House, by the way, one more note of the difference between how the different candidates are covered. Now, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden within the primaries in Democratic Party, but he took a lot of heat for being overly close to women. Trump just grabbed her head and kissed her on the head. Now, I don't think it's a big deal. They're obviously close to one another. She didn't seem to mind, but if Biden had done that, the whole country would be talking about it. Okay, just a very small note, okay? So
can guys just not grab women's heads and give them kisses?
Could you imagine, like?
I can't imagine. I've had that happen to me, and it's super disrespectful and creepy. Don't do that.
Anyway, but that's between them. So now onto the substance of it. Most important question and interesting question is: wait a minute, is something afoot? I don't know that there is. Now, usually it's a little bit more clear than this because there'll be a blow up, and so Rex Tillerson, his former Secretary of State, called Trump an effing moron, and that got into the press. And he didn't even do it to his face, but when Trump found out about it later, he was irate. And of course, you must bow down to the king, and if you don't, off goes your head. So we knew, and in fact, I predicted Tillerson's exit, I think 3 days before he did. He left, and that was also related to the ExxonMobil deal in Russia that nobody talks about, the Rosneft deal that they had. So those are really easy to tell why the person left. In this case, there doesn't appear to be any acrimony, and it's kind of totally out of the blue. So I have to confess, I almost always have a theory for these type of things, but I got none here. I don't know why she's leaving.
Today, while I was preparing a different story, there was a quote from the deputy White House press secretary. And as I was reading this person's name, I was thinking to myself, what happened to Sarah Huckabee Sanders? She hasn't been around in a while. Like, I haven't seen her, she certainly hasn't done any press conferences in a long, long time. And even her cable news appearances have kind of been minimized. I don't know what's really going on, and to be quite honest, I don't care. More than anything, this is the type of story that kind of infuriates me because I just know how it's all gonna end. And it's gonna end with her making a ton of money after being a terrible person.
Okay, yeah, I hear you on that. The reason why it's even relevant, like as to why she's leaving, is if it's personal and she just wants to go cash in, etc., then it's not relevant. Who cares, right? But if she wants to leave before something bad happens, that could be relevant.
Like what?
So,
like the Democrats actually holding Trump accountable for something?
I know, it does seem inconceivable.
It is inconceivable.
But remember, now here's another sign, and these are very small signs. Usually they're much larger ones. But they don't have any replacement ready for her. Usually what administrations do is they plan ahead. I know it's a Trump administration, inconceivable, right? But if someone is leaving, they'll have plenty of time. They'll say it in plenty of time because it's a really important position. And then they'll have time to interview some folks and have a backup ready to go when the announcement happens. Here, as usual, they're like, okay, who's gonna replace it? Like, I don't know, didn't think about it. So it does seem a little abrupt. Now, everything is abrupt in the Trump world, but if there's no acrimony, it's weird that it's abrupt. You see what I'm saying? So what's happening soon? Now, we're getting into speculation, but Hope Hicks is testifying soon. And she was incredibly close to Donald Trump, and she's gonna go testify in the House next week.
Yeah, she'll lie under oath, and there'll be no consequences.
Nah, but
we'll move on with our
remember,
lives.
look.
Let's keep it real, guys. Let's keep it real. Nothing is gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. Trump will be in office until he's hopefully elected out of office. And even if he gets reelected, Democrats aren't gonna do anything. They will have these hearings and they'll, what do they call it? They'll punch their own chest and they'll puff themselves up and pretend like they're tough guys and they're doing something. They're not gonna do jack. You know how this ends, okay?
Okay, so to back up your point, today Nancy Pelosi came out and said that Donald Trump has been involved in a criminal cover-up for a long time. So they said, oh, okay, so then are you going to impeach? And she said, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Well, then don't say it's a criminal cover-up, because then you're saying I am purposely abdicating my duty. I know he has committed crimes. I just told you he has committed crimes. And in that case, we are supposed to pursue impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to do my job because I think that it will hurt me politically. Now, her calculation, as always, is completely wrong. I mean, when's the last time she's ever gotten a political calculation right? So
no, she gets some. Look, I want to be fair. She does get some political calculations right, like accusing Trump of being part of a cover-up, and then having that meeting with him where he has a temper tantrum and rushes out of the room, in a fit of rage. Those types of political calculations I enjoy. They're great. But when push comes to shove, when it comes to issues that really matter, she does show this unbearable level of weakness that I can't stand. And you're right. You keep talking about how terrible he is. You keep talking about how you think he's breaking the law. But why are you saying that you're not gonna push forward with impeachment? And why are people still arguing that you're a genius? That's what I don't get, right? A genius wouldn't do that.
So when I say her political calculations have never paid off, I mean largely in policy victories.
Okay, that's
like
fair.
Cute little theatrics, whether it's her or Schumer. Who cares? It's okay, it's fine. We celebrated it on that day, but it's not a real accomplishment. Getting policy passed is a real accomplishment. So anyway, bottom line is Sarah Huckabee Sanders is leaving. We don't know if it's for something she knows that we don't yet know that could go on to explode. We don't have a solid indication of that now. And to Anna's point, even if Donald Trump shot someone on Fifth Avenue and Sarah Huckabee Sanders knew about it, what difference would it make? Nancy Pelosi likely wouldn't go for impeachment anyway.
Moving on to some other news, an update to a story we did yesterday. During an ABC interview with Donald Trump, he admitted after this lengthy special counsel investigation that if he were approached by a foreign government with opposition research against his opponent, he might look at it and he might not even report it to the FBI, which is against the law. And so now you have all of his lackeys in the media lining up to defend him and trying to convince you, the American people, that what you heard Trump say wasn't actually what he said. Here's one example.
The president said he would listen, but he was also send it to the FBI. He said he would do both. So what the question is whether he should do both or just simply refuse to get the information. But he did say he would turn it over to the FBI. So what I think he was talking.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
and also initially he did point out he's never picked up the phone for something like that, and nobody ever would, and Congress people don't do it, and that Chris Wray is wrong that you should pick up the phone.
Yeah, look, the president throws terms maybe odd. I mean, he has sort of, as we all do, we have filler words that we throw out there and that don't mean what they say. Like, I think. So I took the president for his word that he would do both, which I think I don't think that's necessarily inappropriate as long as he refers it to the FBI. As far as looking at the information, maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't, but I don't think there's a crime in looking at the information as long as you refer it to the proper authorities.
No, there is a crime in looking at the information. You are receiving oftentimes stolen goods, but more importantly, you're receiving it from a foreign country, which is illegal. So the whole point is you're not supposed to receive it. Al Gore, even when it wasn't a foreign country, he got George Bush's prep for the debates, did not look at it and immediately turned it over to the FBI, assuming that it must have been in some way stolen.
Wait, George Bush prepped for the debates?
I know, well, you couldn't tell from watching the debates, but apparently he did. And so what Trump said he would do is clearly illegal. And he wasn't unclear about it. He said, give me a break, life doesn't work that way. Yeah. When Stephanopoulos said, but the FBI director says that would be illegal, he said, quote, the FBI director is wrong. But Santorum over here, hilarious. Sometimes we all use filler words. First of all, what the hell's a filler word?
Right.
Okay, second of all, he says, filler words are things you don't mean. Wait, that's not a filler word. I'm not positive what a filler word is, but that's not, if it means anything at all, it doesn't mean the opposite of what you mean. And then the example he gave was, like, I think. So are you saying that every time you say, I think, it's the opposite of what you mean, which is that you don't think? Which actually would make sense given what we just watched.
That was a good catch. That was a good catch. This is why people come in and for this expert analysis, Jake. No, that was really good. But okay, here's the thing. This is what, if I could just sit down and have a conversation with Rick Santorum or Hannity or Laura Ingraham, all the people that we're about to talk about, I would just ask them, are you proud? Like, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of going on national television and making a complete and utter fool out of yourself in an effort to defend this criminal? And I guess they would say yes, and I don't understand what it is they think they're gonna get out of this. I mean, you have this guy who's supposed to be leading the country, but he's a complete and utter disaster. He has no respect for anyone, no loyalty for anyone, no empathy for anyone. What do you think you're gonna get out of this situation, other than some pathetic interview that everyone's gonna forget about a week later? Anyway, with that said, Hannity, of course, also came to Trump's defense. Here's what he had to say.
In many ways, that was actually a genius setup because the media mob will fall right into his trap, breathlessly spewing fake, phony outrage over a non-story for days. We'll be showing you the tape this time tomorrow night, ignoring the real abuse of power that took place in 2016 and the real Russian dossier that was bought and paid for and then used as a basis to spy on the Trump campaign.
Can I just mention why there were red flags in regard to the Trump campaign, in case anyone had forgotten? Remember that, what was his last name? Papadopoulos.
Yes.
Papadopoulos was like bragging about his connections to Russia. He did that with an Australian diplomat, I believe.
Yep.
And so guess what happened? The FBI was like, oh, it looks like Russia's trying to meddle in the election. It was because of Papadopoulos.
So I'm not even going there. I mean, Hannity's a clown. He's like, oh, the real problem in Hillary was it was a setup for Hillary Clinton to win. Did she win? What a stupid argument. I'm moving past it. So, but I love the essence of his argument, which is no. Donald Trump, by admitting that he's a lifelong criminal who has never turned anything over to the FBI and would never cooperate with law enforcement, is actually playing three-dimensional chess. He wants you to talk about what a lifelong criminal he is and how he would never listen to the law so that, what? There is no logical ending to that sentence.
Donald Trump can't play regular chess, right? Much less three-dimensional chess. And I just, look, I wanna quickly show you a portion of the interview that Trump had with Stephanopoulos, because I think it's important for everyone to really note exactly what it is that Trump said. Let's take a look.
Your campaign this time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
Do you want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it. If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI if I thought there was something wrong.
Okay, let's just note that Maybe Norway.
Norway.
Norway. All right, now let's take a different example. Let's say he's running against Joe Biden, and Iran gives stolen information from Donald Trump's campaign to Joe Biden. And Biden says, well, there's nothing wrong with looking at it, just because it's coming from Iran. Right? Or Venezuela steals information and gives it to Gillibrand, whoever Trump is running against, right? Do you know what would happen to Donald Trump's orange head? They took information from Iran or Venezuela, right? So go. When he says, I would never work with the FBI. I mean, how much clearer is it? Of course he never gonna, you know who never cooperates with law enforcement? Criminals.
Exactly, exactly. And finally, I wanna give you the critique that Laura Ingraham had in regard to the interview overall. Fox News host Laura Ingraham demanded to know who in the Trump administration had approved the interview. Trump being put in that situation is beyond me, and suggested that Trump was playing with Stephanopoulos.
Wait, if he was playing with Stephanopoulos, why do you mind the interview? Then aren't you happy about the interview? Oh, you were happy that Stephanopoulos came in so Trump could play with him. But you're not happy about the interview. That's why you said, yes. Who set that up? Are you guys crazy?
Totally.
And so number one, get your story straight, because you said two different things there. Number two, why doesn't Laura Ingraham want the president to ever do an interview? Because she knows he's an idiot.
Yes, that's the best point. That's why I chose that quote, because it's like, who allowed this to happen? Who allowed this guy to talk to the press? This is a terrible idea.
Who would be so stupid enough to put Donald Trump in front of a microphone? The guy's a total moron. He'll obviously admit his criminality immediately. So even they know. Rick Santorum also said in that interview, he says he tends to sort of ramble and talk about things more loosely. Okay, they know he's an idiot. The only people who haven't figured it out is MAGA, okay? So all the Republican senators and congressmen, except for a couple, totally know that the president's an idiot, but they don't want to get primaried. Now look at what happened to Justin Amash. He says he's in favor of impeachment. Amash is a massive right winger, okay? He's not anywhere near the middle, let alone the left, on every issue. So it's not like he changed his mind and he instantly became a liberal. No, he's still one of the most right-wing guys in Congress. His no-name primary opponent is now up by 16 points. He was in a deeply safe district. So that's what happens when you oppose the president. Why? And that's why all the congressmen and the senators and all these pundits are slavishly behind Donald Trump. Oh yes, Donald Trump, even though they know he's a total idiot and a total criminal, because they don't want to face the wrath of MAGA. The only people in the country who haven't figured out that the president is a con man are his voters. So they're like, oh yeah, no. Who would work with the FBI? Of course, I've been saying my whole life as a conservative, never work with the cops. What?
Unbelievable.
I don't know, maybe they were just using filler words.
Maybe. All right, we got to take a break, but when we come back, we have more questionable law breaking within the Trump administration. Who's in trouble now? We'll give you the details on that and more.